Great. Hello, it's Angel. Today I want to talk about fear and avoidance because something happened today at work where my manager came up to me and told me to take more initiative in terms of learning how to go to codes and doing PICU simulations and doing all that sort of stuff. So I guess before getting to that, I can talk a little bit about, fear and avoidance, since, I am a pro at avoiding things. It's one of the major topics that I worked on in therapy with my therapist about avoidance, some things I learned about how avoidance can basically pour oil or pour gas on top of the fire and make fear and anxiety worse. So before I get to that, Buddha is back there chewing on a toy. So if you hear any squeaky noises, that is Buddha, and I'm sorry. So fear and avoidance. So the one thing my therapist taught me is that avoidance can feel good in the moment, but it actually, as time goes on, exacerbates the fear. So when you learn to avoid something out of fear, you go out of your way to avoid it, and it really does not, it reinforces the fear because you're not confronting it. You're just learning that the only way to deal with the fear is to avoid it. Yet the fear doesn't disappear, it's still there, but now you've gotten into this pattern of avoiding it and going around it. And so sometimes how it works is, and the way that it was explained to me was, maybe somebody's afraid of dogs and they don't like dogs. So if they see one walking on the sidewalk, they'll go around it. And yeah, it avoids some sort of event that potentially may happen, but it reinforces the fact that the way to deal with the fear is to avoid it. And so next time, maybe now it becomes reinforced to the point where you're afraid of even smaller animals like rabbits or squirrels or anything like that. And it just compounds the fear, and you really don't learn anything by doing that. And in fact, it makes your life harder because now you have to go out of your way to avoid a certain situation. So I have always been an avoider. I avoid conflict. I avoid relationships where people, where there has been a rift in the relationship. I avoid things that are hard. So for example, at work, after graduating residency, I had a bit of a slower start, I guess, compared to my co-residents, and I believe a major part of that was my own fear and my fear of not being able to do something, but more of the fact that I felt like I would not be supported if I were to fail, if that makes any sense. So I didn't really fear the fact of failing. I just feared the fact that the feeling of the lack of support. Does that make sense? I'm not sure. So I would go out of my way to avoid situations where it would put me in a place where I felt unsupported, like I was going to fail and that somebody would not be supportive or nurturing, and instead be kind of like laugh in your face at your failures. So I am the queen of avoidance. And so now that it's been 3 years after I graduated residency, I have had more opportunities to grow in my career as a pharmacist and to learn different things. And in order to optimize my life and my schedule, I'm going to trial going to working evenings only. And for me to work solely evening shifts, I will have to learn some new shifts, and these shifts include the responsibility of going to codes. So I guess going to codes is kind of a nerve-wracking thing if you don't do it on a regular basis, never been to one, or never had someone really teach you and support you in the way that you needed. So obviously I've been avoiding going to codes for 3 years, and now I have to confront it. So my manager came up to me and told me that instead of her trying to push me and try to schedule me to go to these simulations, that I should take the initiative to find these opportunities and look for coverage, etc., etc. And so in that moment, like right after we talked, I had so many regrets about wanting to go to evenings and like, why am I doing this? I just want to do my 8 hours and leave, and why am I putting myself in this situation, this uncomfortable situation? And so I had regrets in that moment, but after, a couple minutes, I ran into a coworker who is ICU trained and is, works within the pharmacy. Like, they're not on the floor all the time, so they're more accessible and more approachable than somebody who has that ICU position. So I shot him a message. I looked on the schedule. I stalked the schedule and looked at which days would be maybe slower, so that we would have time where he could teach me and like drill me on some stuff. So I messaged him saying, hey, would you be willing to teach me about codes on this day? It's, the day after Thanksgiving. Hopefully things will be slow. I'm not working a very busy shift either, but maybe I can learn some things on that day and, help the nerves and stuff. I do think that I can do it. I think I'm perfectly capable of going to codes and being effective, being an effective member of the code team. I just think I need some practice. I need to learn how to do some things in the IV room, maybe like some factor, maybe, I don't know, those weird devices where I've never actually manually manipulated and made those drugs. And then I think the part that is really scary is like the interpersonal interactions part. Like, communicating with the team lead, like asking questions, being able to, communicate and be assertive in those situations where I don't know anybody. And, I've heard of situations where there's multiple physicians and providers in the area giving orders, and they're all contradicting each other. So I think just trying to learn how to manage that and, like, hear his experience and hear how he's dealt with things, and actually, like, being able to go to codes and see what they do when they arrive to the scene I think will be very helpful. So I guess here's to facing your fears and going towards them, even though all the parts of your body are telling you to avoid and to abort mission, and now you have many, many regrets about the situation. But I think the only way to grow and progress in your life is to do what you can to prepare yourself, ask other people that you know are willing to teach you and not willing to teach you in a way that's not demeaning or condescending. I think that's really important, to find those people to teach you, and just preparing yourself and doing your work as much as you can, and then just doing it, Nike, you know. I think that's all I wanted to say in this video. Let me know in the comments what fears you have, and if you've in the past had to conquer them. Let me know in the comments, and if you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe. Okay, thank you. Bye.